Okay, here we go. We're at the Venta Cemetery, coming up very fast on the next mission. This place is a pretty cool little place. Let's read the outpost description. Originally a graveyard reserved for Cornons slain by centaurs, Venta Cemetery has blossomed into a small walled town where market stalls share space with the headstones. While the occasional centaur will trade with two legs here, the gates are locked at night and guards are posted at the walls. So you can see here the story. There's a lot to do with the centaurs and the Cornons, and we'll see that story start to grow from here on out. And this is where it sort of begins. The centaurs, as we'll soon see, like to call the humans two legs, so that's what that's talking about there. And yeah, a lot of centaurs, in fact, a lot of free centaurs, because many of them have been slaves for a long time to the Cornons. A lot of the remaining free centaurs are just north a little bit, kind of here, sort of where it starts to turn into the desolation, which I talked about a few episodes ago. But we'll look at those guys a little bit later. So yeah, we're here. We've got lots of Sunspear recruits and stuff, and we've sort of rounded them up, and we're trying to get everyone who's still alive home. We're trying to get back out of corner, back to Istan. So let's speak to Rogis. He says, "Good to see you, friend, and to think you've got all your arms and legs intact after all you've been through. As a matter of fact, I've managed to figure out a way to disarm those pesky sentry traps. I'll show you how once we're on our way. That Corsair, Margaret, is waiting on the other side of the garrison. I'll stay behind and direct any stragglers. Take this, you'll need it." So we accept that quest. Well, it looks like we're at it again, eh? I like Rogers. So yeah, now you can see it's turned into a mission outpost. We need to evacuate the wounded. I finally figured out how to disarm those blasted traps. When you and Kos are ready, we can get these folks back to Istan. I had Narashi make a map of the area. Here, let me show you the locations. So, in we go. And this is a pretty cool mission. This is what I was talking about, by the way. Look at all the evacuees here. It's amazing. This is a pretty cool little mission. Lead the Sunspear evacuees to Jaka Inklet without being discovered by the garrison. So if you remember, we're trying to find this Corsair, this woman Margaret, and she seems to have got us a ship. Or Kos says she has at the very least. So yeah. Let's speak to Rogis. He says, "Do you wish to learn the disarm sentry trap skill?" Yes, the more skills at our disposal, the better chances of success. So I can pick a skill. I'm going to do it over the Sunspear Rebirth Signet, since I never seem to use that. And here are the sentry traps. Rogis says, "The situation just got a bit more interesting. Our Cornon friends thought we might be coming this way, and they were kind enough to leave sentry traps in our path. Talk to me when you're ready to learn how to disable one of these things. To disable it, first you must approach it. It will activate, and you'll have a short window of time to shut it down by using the disable trap skill." So it's pretty simple. If you mistime it, so we'll come over and you can see that the bar's going down. If I leave it too late and try and use it, say now, it takes a while to activate. Oh no, I got it. I got it anyway. Okay, so if you use it too late though, basically you'll get interrupted and you have to try again. So there we go. That's basically the story here. We've just got to evacuate all of these guys. There's also another thing to do with a bonus. Basically, if we look at the map, you'll see that there's all these posts. You remember I was talking about how in every sort of explorable area there's a big garrison? So this is the one that was oppressing people at Ronjok. Basically, the garrison here, if we go anywhere near it, this is the Morzek garrison. If we go anywhere near it, it will blow the crap out of us, and it will basically make us wipe straight away. So we have to keep ages away from the garrison. We need to try and hide. And there's all these little guard posts as well, and whenever we get to near a guard post, the people on it, if the people spot us at the guard post, they'll start sieging us. And the bonus is, you see all of these little flags? The bonus for this mission is to go to every single guard post and take it out, and it takes ages. If you're not doing the bonus, you can literally just run across the north here. This is one of the few missions in the game where you don't actually have to fight at all to actually win. You can literally just run across, get someone to run you to the boat. You see here, that's where Margaret is. Oh, that's where Margaret is, all the way over on the coast. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Because it's such a long bonus, and I did say to everyone that I'd do the bonuses, I'm not going to wig out on it. I am going to do it. So I'll speed it up. I might even speed it up super quick and maybe talk over it or something. I'm not sure. But that's basically the mission, everyone. If dialogue comes up, I'll stop it and slow it down. But sadly, that's all really. So let's get started. You see, this is the alert meter here. Sorry. If we don't take out the guys at the guard post in time, that meter will go down. And they will sound an alert and blow our cover and start sieging us and stuff. So, as you can see, it's really, really sped up. Apologies if anyone gets motion sickness from this, but I always find it quite fun when it's going this fast to just look at the mini-map and just watch how I sort of move around and devour all of the guard posts. But yeah, there really wasn't anything to say on this mission. It's a bit of a lull, so I was quite happy to speed all of this up, you know, just skip over it, so we could get some more interesting stuff into the episode. So here I'm kind of just pussyfooting around the garrison here. You really do. That's the only, except right at the end, that's the only big thing that you have to worry about. I don't think anyone really died. I think Kos actually died. Actually, I'll say again, because I found sort of the warthog wandering around by his corpse when I was walking back in a minute. Yeah, you see here I'm wandering back the way I came, and I sort of see the Pumbaa, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. So here's the last guard post, and I'm going to start talking again. We're just going to go onto a bit of a river. So see you then. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the end now. You can see we're sort of, I believe this is meant to be a dried up river that used to kind of flow north a little bit perhaps. But it's all dried up now. And this is kind of the area. This mission's a pain in the arse really, because you've got all those posts, all those command posts. You can spend absolutely ages on the mission. And then this last bit here, it's really easy to aggro too many corners. The corners just try really hard to make sure nobody gets through. And yeah, it's very, very, very annoying. You can see you got a group there, a group there. I believe there's one over on the right. Yeah, you can see that spirit there. That's a spirit from a previous group. So you've got to pick your time carefully. You've got to let those ones walk off. Make sure those ones are nowhere near these guys. And, you know, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, I particularly know that when I first did this mission, I wasn't expecting anything bad to happen here, and then I got to the end and I just got completely swarmed. And it didn't feel very good, I'll tell you now. It didn't feel very good at all, especially considering you have to fight basically every single enemy on this whole mission. It's quite a boring mission, I'd say. Feels a bit filler-ish, if anything. Story-wise and gameplay-wise. I mean, I'm of the opinion that if something's not difficult to do, it just takes a long time, it's probably not good for the game. I mean, I understand that making things take longer can make them more difficult, but it's not always the case. I mean, this one, it's just as simple. It's just as easy to take out the first guard post as it is to take out the other 11, and yet you're still required to do them all. It's just a bit of a pain in the arse. But yeah, there's a ship there, so it looks like Margaret has come to help us get back. Just one more group of Cornins stand in our way. Oh, okay, there they are. I'm going to try and skip them. I'm going to leave my guys here to fight, and I'm going to run on my own. I'm pretty sure there's no more Cornins. If there's some more, then I'm screwed, but there we go. So yeah, a nice little ship on the river, or what's left of the river. And who is about? Hello? I can't see anyone. There's Margaret. Start negotiations with Margaret the Sly. So here she is. We've been hearing about her quite a lot. And at last we meet her. Pretty nice little dock over here. And yeah, and what a really nice little effect on that boat is that it actually bobs up and down. You don't often see stuff like that happen on this game. Everything's like really static. But I think that's pretty cool. Those little boats that do that. So there we go. Ending cutscene.
Margaret, got my boat?
That depends, my friend. Got my money?
You sure you want the money? My friendship's worth more than mere gold, isn't it?
You're charming, Kos, but I can't spend charming. The money, please. It's always a pleasure doing business with honest people. Welcome aboard.
Kos, she's a Corsair. Can we trust her?
Only for as long as the money lasts. But for the moment, you can relax. We're going home.
You let those Sunspears escape?
There were only a few of them, sir. We've already captured and killed most of their forces.
Only a few? You idiot. Captain!
Yes, sir!
Increase the patrols. Burn the villages that help these traitors. Send word to the Warmarshal.
Yes, sir. What should I tell her?
Tell her to send me the hunger.
The hunger. There we go. So, Corner kind of, when we finish the storyline in Corner, it kind of ends with this big confrontation. And a lot of it is to do with Bayel and the hunger. So, we're done there. I'm going to accept all my stuff. Oh, I'm lagging a little bit. Dockmaster Alario. So we actually come back. What I think is nice, very nice about Nightfall, is the other two campaigns, they kind of feel, the story feels like an excuse to go on a world tour. You know, it's forever a linear storyline. You're just going from one place to the next place to the next place to the next place. On Nightfall, they really shift that up. I mean, we saw a lot in Istan. We kept going back to the Sunspear Great Hall. And, you know, the plot takes you back. And once again, it's not like we just left Istan and we never came back. Now we're back here at Kamadan again, and there's more stuff to do here. And I really like the way they do that. I think it makes the whole story feel a lot more believable. So, here's the Dockmaster. He says, "Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? You wouldn't believe the rumours that have been flying around. Bodies and empty boats washing ashore ever since you left. The council is in session. Tell your tale to Elder Sul and the rest. It is quite a tale." Let me finish my memoirs first. So, gonna go back, speak to the council, see what we can do. The assault completely failed. Okay, so we have to tell them our story, really, which is not good. Everybody's dead, basically. There you go, that's the story. Everyone's dead. Most importantly, Cormier is probably dead, mauled by a demon, and completely missing, among many others. So, who have we got here? We've got lots of nobles. I do not trust Corner. Why aren't they counter-attacking? What is Varesh also planning? That's a good point, actually. Why aren't they counter-attacking? What's Varesh planning? Is that what they're all going to say? Oh, hi, Matt. Any news of Kos? Yes, we found Kos. Are you alright? I've heard such terrible things. Yes, I'm alright, thank you. Okay, alright, so we've got the three elders, the three kind of big elders of Istan. And we're going to talk to each of them and see what they all think. They're probably all going to be like, "Oh, we were right, we should never have gone to war. Cormier was wrong, blah, blah, blah." Okay. So, Nalo says, "There is a saying among young people to let the little things slide. It is these minute elements that give life character. To that end, I make it a point to pay attention to even the smallest of details." The council is called. We lost thousands of weapons, hundreds of boats, and a vast amount of supplies. Cormier has truly failed us. Varesh has declared the Sunspears traitors, and Istan allies of the Order. We must sue for peace. If only we could talk to Varesh. Perhaps then we could explain what has happened. Okay, what do you have to say? The assistant. Elder Sul is a very busy man. Without me, none of these scrolls would ever get processed. I remember, I've spoken to you before. Elder Dahut. The delegations of Corner and Varesh have been here. So many visitors, so many things that can go wrong. Sul would press forward with this fight. Nalo would explain the details until Nightfall is upon us. We have failed, and in failing we have endangered all of Istan. There is no other choice. We must surrender and plead for Varesh's mercy. Too much blood has been shed because of Cormier. Oh dear, they all have very negative thoughts. Okay, and Sul, if I remember correctly, was the meanest guy of them all. He really didn't like Cormier's plan. Okay, what do you have to say, buddy? Ahai, it is through the people that Istan is built. It is the people that I serve. What do you have to say? You bear grave tidings. Varesh is truly aligned with these demons. The Sunspears have been smashed and Cormier is dead. Still, you have done well rescuing the survivors and establishing a base inside Cornan territory. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to keep up with their live speech. But now Istan must prepare for the inevitable retaliation from the Warmarshal. Our surviving ships can hold off the Cornans and their allied corsairs for a short while. But how can we defend ourselves against demons? It's interesting that the Cornans have allied with corsairs for the moment, isn't it? But yeah, how can we defend ourselves against demons? We will need allies in these desperate times. Allies for the coming fight. But where can we find them? People of Istan, hear my words. We have heard first-hand accounts of the attack on Gandhara and the treachery of Varesh Ossa. We cannot stand idly by and let Varesh continue, but we have been weakened and cannot continue this war alone. We need our brothers, the Vabians, as allies in this struggle. May the true gods preserve us all. It is up to you, Matt. Go to Vabi and convince the princes to join our cause. So you remember, you might have forgotten, but Vabi is led by merchant princes. It's a brilliant place. And here's our reason. This is why we're going to go to Vabi. But it's really not as simple as that. You would think, oh, I've got to speak to Sul again. You would think, oh yeah, okay, so no, we just go straight to Vabi. But it doesn't quite work out like that. Elder Sul. We cannot aid the Sunspears any longer. We must protect Istan while you recruit allies in Vabi. It will not be easy. The Vabian princes are oblivious to what goes on outside of their palaces. You must somehow convince them that Varesh is a threat to us all. Istan must prepare for the inevitable. Your Sunspears are doing a commendable job of keeping Varesh occupied, though it is only a matter of time before she turns her gaze toward Istan. You must go to Vabi and convince those corpulent princes that this is their war. Do not fail us as Cormyr did. You must be the light against which the tide of darkness will break. If you need passage back to Corner, Dockmaster Ahalio will assist you. To Vabi! To the nearest tavern. Okay, so to Vabi. And yeah, with this sort of shift in what we're doing now, it's quite an interesting focus on Talcora, because as you guys remember, she's Vabian. She's from Vabi, so she comes to the forefront of the story a bit more now, which is quite nice. So yeah, let's go back to Corner. So no sooner are we back home, we're actually off again. So we can speak to the Dockmaster, but I also think we can map travel. It's always a bit of a shame. A lot of people, and I kind of agree with them, don't get me wrong here, a lot of people really, really love map travel in Guild Wars. You know, it really fits in with their philosophies that you should be able to do what you want without having to grind and all this other kind of stuff. And I 100% agree, but I do think that map travel kind of takes something away from the game sometimes. You know, I'd like the feeling of travel, you know, just solid travel, which you don't really get too much in games where map travel is extensively used, as we see here. Which is why, I mean, when we found out about map travel costing money in Guild Wars 2, just a little bit of money supposedly, we found out about that, and a lot of people bitched about that. A lot of people were very unhappy with it. You know, I kind of take the other stance there. I actually think it's quite a good move, because it encourages people to walk around and see the world a bit more. But yeah, so back out into the command post, Dunkoro. You know, they treat us like the leader, but really, Dunkoro's the tactician. He's the guy who's teaching us all this stuff. And now that we've completed the Sunward Marches, now that we've completed the Ventus Cemetery mission, we actually get more building the base type quests, which I might do. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. So you can't just run off with a plan. To Vabi. We must go north through the fortress of Jahai to reach Vabi. There the mountains narrow and the Elon falls over the first Great Cataract. Once it was a clear passage, but the Cornans have built a fortress there and control the road. We need to find a way through it, or around it. Just remember to keep an eye on Narashi. Her impulsive actions have a tendency to draw attention. So basically what you've got is Corner here, and Vabi is up here, and you see these mountains. You can't travel to Vabi from the north. This is the desolation. Nothing can live here, so just forget about that. You've got more mountains down here, and the only real way to get through to Vabi is through this place that they call the Grand Cataract, and it's kind of here. And in recent years, the Cornans have built this huge kind of fortress there. And if there was one place that I would say that was just as developed as Gandhara, it's this fortress. As you guys will see in a minute, because we're going to scout it out. In fact, you're not going to see it in a minute, because I'm going to end that episode there. I think we've done a reasonable amount of stuff. I will see you guys next time, where we figure out how we're going to get to Vabi. So, see you then.